All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Port Orange Neighborhood Council Special Board Meeting Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021. It is 6:15 and the meeting will begin. A few important reminders. The meeting is open to the public via the web or over the phone. Board members only will appear on the screen while all public attendees will be on the audio only. Everyone is normally muted except when given the floor to speak. All members of the public may provide comment to the board. We're going to change this up, so I want everybody to heed my advice on this. And please understand, this is a working meeting. I have checked with Dunn, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold all comments from the public till after we've completed the meeting. So like I said, we need to stay focused. This is a very important meeting. It's a working meeting, so heed the advice and we'll move forward. So once again, and once an agenda item, so we'll move on from that. Your computer controls or phone controls, you will utilize your hand, which will allow the board president to know you wish to make comment. And that goes for also on the phone, pushing #9. On that note, I think we've all, if there's any other questions or comments before we move forward, feel free to ask ahead of time before we move. Are there any procedural questions that anybody would like to ask before we move on with the meeting?
David, it's Jason.
Yes,
here.
Jason.
I can't seem to find the grievance. I'm searching the email, but it's not pulling up.
Assad sent it to everybody.
When did he send it?
It was sent by Lorenzo. Look for Lorenzo. It was mailed.
I know. You
Yeah.
have to understand the email I'm searching.
If you go on the board website, Jason,
Okay.
and you go under meetings, or you go under, you should be able to pull it up there. Everything has been agendized with the city.
No, he's asking about the 77 pages from Lorenzo.
Yeah.
That we said, I mean, it was sent, I'll tell you.
It was like 2 months ago, right? Month and a half ago?
If somebody has it, can they just email it to me, because
It's 77 pages, Jason. Okay.
I don't have it.
This
You
is
got
something
it?
that should have been handled before the meeting. So we
I
need to move
tried
forward.
and tried.
I'm sorry.
Laurie, can you
I didn't
email
get a
it to
call.
him? Yeah, Laurie, can you email it to him, please, if you have it?
I don't have it
handy?
handy. I don't
Okay,
have
I'll
it.
forward it.
All right. Let's move forward, please. We have a lot to handle this evening. First off, would Margaret, since you have the roll call, would you like to move forward with roll call for us?
Yes, I can do that for you.
Thank you very much.
President Balin,
Present.
Vice President Ashad,
Present?
Secretary Choi,
Here,
Treasurer Hector,
Here.
Brandy Grace. Brandy Grace, absent. Mark Haynes. Mark Haynes, absent. I'm going to say this name the best I can. Board Member Kala Dijon. Miran Kala Dijon, absent. Gabriel Kalin,
Here,
present. Okay. David Lashner,
Here.
present. Becky Levique. Board Member Becky Levique, absent. Board Member Hassan Mimarian.
Present.
Okay, you have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have a total of 7 board members and officers present.
Thank you. We also have our Dunn representative, Gibson is here. So on that note, I'd like to call any updates from representatives or elected officials or city departments. Gibson, would you like to start out?
Yes, Mr. President. Hi, everybody. I'm going to be jumping between this meeting and Granada Hills North. Just want to touch base on election outreach. So we had an opportunity between the department and some of the board members on PRNC. We were chatting in regards to election outreach, what's strategically being done by the board to conduct election outreach, some of the challenges of doing the election. And Raquel definitely made a proposition. This is something that the president may end up discussing down the board if I'm not going to be in the meeting, in regards to having all board members get seated on July 1. So after the election, just have everybody be seated on July 1st as a way of streamlining the process and help making sure that board members get onboarded sort of with the streamlined process, because whenever new board gets elected, it's always a little bit of a panic a little bit in getting folks up and running. So we are definitely planning on doing that. And that's a proposition that we put out to the neighborhood councils. And if it's something the board would like to consider, definitely let me know. We are just doing outreach with some community-based organizations. We are also in the process of finalizing a contract will help us do outreach with a vendor. So even though it's late in the process and we got the money late, we're still trying to utilize every advantage that we do have in trying to do election outreach. And so we do apologize for the inconvenience, but we are working warp speed in a system that doesn't like to work warp speed. But that's just how the system works. And we're doing our best in concentrating on election outreach. And so if folks have any questions, I definitely will be concentrating a lot on elections.
I think we're good on that. I think we're going to really tap on elections at the next meeting. Next
Okay,
Wednesday.
fantastic.
Very good. All right. Do we have any other elected officials that would like to speak? All right. On that note, we will move forward to item number 6. It's discussion and possible action relative to the Port Orange Neighborhood Council Board responding to a grievance number 254 and to appoint and authorize the PRNC board member as a designated representative authorized to speak on behalf of the board regional grievance panel hearing for grievance number, once again, item number 254, and to respond back to the department via online grievance response form by latest February 4th, 2021, and can include up to 3 witness statements if applicable. So let's move forward. Let me pull up the screen here. I'm going to go to item number A. Here. Oh, let's backspace. Let's step back to so as per done, I was asked to establish a ad hoc grievance committee. And in doing so, I chose Assad since he was the author of the censure. So he is heading the ad hoc along with David Lasher. So on that note, you know what, while I pull this up, Assad, why don't you go ahead?
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you all and good evening. And it's for having you here on a rushed special meeting. I mean, I was hoping to be here today to discuss one of the many urgent issues in Port Orange, such as the COVID-19 vaccination, the financial impact, the health issues on us, or discuss the 5 years of the Alicia Canyon issues, or attend to our homeless brothers and sisters' need, or address the neglected traffic racing. However, instead, we are here to discuss grievance number 254, which, I mean, personally, I believe should not have even got to this stage that we are in without going through level 1, the oral phase, to resolve the issues and to give Gibson the hand-on opportunity to resolve. And instead, we were jumped magically into level 2 with this written grievance. And now we are on our way to level 3 because as presented today to you in attachment C, even though the grievance body and witness statements and attachment does not comply with the rules, we still have to proceed from where we are level 2 to level 3. I pause here to thank Raquel, Lorenzo, Simi, Gibson, and the City Attorney Office for their support to us during this Empower LA grievance procedure, which is, so that everybody knows, the procedure is at infancy. And in a way, PRNC among the first encountering of this event. When we got the grievance back in early December, or basically mid-November, where we got the first body of the 77 or something pages, and then we didn't get the direction until December 4, I immediately reached out to Dunn for guidance. I'm an expert in the city civil service grievance procedure and have done tens of them, but not the NC grievance. And hence it became like, before we proceed, we needed help. David Balin and I had our meeting with Simi and Gibson in early December to go on the procedure itself and not to discuss the grievance 254. We wanted a clear direction on the direction. Simi and Gibson tried their best to help. And we were at the time, David and I, going to attempt to reach a solution with Becky, but we were instructed by Dunn, and basically Gibson and Simi told, no, proceed with the procedure without discussion with the grievant. As we go, it's a touchy subject. We needed time to resolve. Initially, we wanted this meeting to take place December 15, 2020. However, we got delayed until we got the direction in early January 2021 that we are to proceed. The direction was included in the email to the board, which shows the area which we cover, like Mr. President Balin presented the ad hoc committee in which I became the chair of it, given I'm also the chair of the bylaws. And David Lasher, given he is very familiar with the city's civil service for city of LA and city of Burbank, and he's well experienced, in handling grievances. This is an opportunity. I thank David Lasher for all the work he's done to get and develop the attachment C. You have it. Now, in order to abide by Gibson direction, I took the first draft that I got from David Lasher, and I chopped out a lot of the areas that I felt was not covering the 3 areas outlined for us to address only for this grievance. I didn't want us to fall in a trap in which we go to level 3 and they tell us you're not in compliance. And that's where it is. I took the parts in which was referring to the uncivilized behavior of the grievant in October, November, December, and even in January meeting, because all that would be red herring that does not address grievance number 254. Now, before I go over the attachments, what they are and all that, I would like the opportunity here to state for the record that I don't have anything personally at all against the grievant and never had. I always admired her, and for many years, from the inception of the PRNC over a decade ago till the end of 2019, and worked with her for many project delivers in Porter Ranch, even the design of our beloved PRCS and all that. And it's sadly to see that in early 2017 onwards, this great lady lost the flair, and somehow she started drifting away from the rest of the board, which we are today. But deep down in heart, I love her and I treasure everybody on the board. Maybe we disagree on things representing the seat we elected in, but we remain, and we should remain, community leaders, work together outside the chair. Now, attachment A is very simple. You have it, Mr. President, to
You know what? Hold on a second. So I'm having issues with my computer with one second here. I'm having issues with my computer.
If not, I can bring it live.
Did
Can
we
you?
lose some board members here?
Huh?
I don't-
Sorry, Jason?
Did we lose board members, or is Brandy still on? Because I don't see her on the screen.
I don't see Brandy.
Randy wasn't here.
Brandy is absent.
He was absent, Jason.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, I can bring the form,
Hold
no
on a
problem.
second. I got it right here. Give
Oh,
me
you
a-
got it? Okay.
Everybody see it?
So the form basically, very basic. It's grievance number 254 by the Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council. And can you scroll a little bit,
Of
David,
course,
please?
go ahead.
Yeah, so the first yellow highlighted is we're going to decide today an authorized representative that's going to click the submit on whatever we're going to cut and paste into this form. And this person's email to the right, go a little bit above. No,
You scroll down.
yeah, I mean, sorry, yeah, okay. So attachment B will address the item that says grievance review by neighborhood council. So I'll get to it in a second. But from talking to Gibson and exploring the 4 options, it's my personal belief the only direction we have is to say not applicable, grievant is a board member. Okay, and then you see the 3 areas outlined that is explained in attachment C. The first one is the specific bylaws, rule, regulations, code, policy, or directive and relevant, and that supports the response to the grievance. The second one, what is the nature of the response to the grievance? And the third one, what is the remedy suggested? David, can you bring number B, please?
I'm right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So number B, if this was a stakeholder grievance coming in, we would have either to accept it, waive it by a certain board action on the date it was, or waive it by a standing rule. However, as I talked with Gibson and discussion, the answer I recommend is the only one, which is non-applicable. This is a grievant. Grievant is a board member. Now, before I get,
Sorry, and share with them that this was agreed with by Dunn.
Yes, this is discussed and agreed for by Dunn. And the only modification from the form you see is the live form. Finally, today, this morning, Dunn added a place in there where we could attach the witness statement. If you go scroll all the way down, David, you see there is only, oops, you missed it maybe.
There's nothing else there.
A little bit above, there is supposed to be, oh, no, not in attachment A, sorry. In attachment A, if there is only that option save and close and then you submit. Now done, thanks to them, they added the place where you're going to upload the witness statements or any documentation we want to include. Now, attachment C, you all got it. And I believe the 254, you all have it. David spent a good over 3 weeks going through all the rules, all the bylaws, all done instructions, and he worked very hard to be subjective in the response.
C just disappeared, so give me a second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
You found it's up there or not yet? Oh yeah, okay.
Oh,
No, it's not. It's
it
the third
disappeared.
tap on your right. The third
No,
tap on your right.
It disappeared on me. One moment.
Okay.
Go ahead, just continue, please.
Right. So when you come to the specific bylaw, rules, and regulations, and codes, what we're referring to, which we always used, is the existing bylaws of the Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council. And basically, it's Article 5 that directs everything we do in regards to censure, removal, and all whatever is addressed in the way we conduct business. Also, Article 14, which addresses the civil behavior of the board members and the way they conduct themselves during the meeting. And of course, we're referring to the Dunn grievance policy as published by Empower LA, which is the Bible for everybody. And as I mentioned, I feel it's in infancy, and along the line, we as PRNC are there to help Raquel and the whole team in anything they want in policies. Now, do you have it up? Yeah, okay. So if you start scrolling to the item 1.
First off, before we start getting into the draft.
I'm just going to go briefly. David Lasher will present the whole thing for you.
Before
Okay.
we move on, please, let me finish. I want to go back to attachment A, and I would like to motion to have Assad speak on our behalf at the grievance for item number 254. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
I'd like to open it up for discussion to the board.
I think it makes sense for Assad to be involved and to go ahead and manage this, as he's been involved in the whole process from beginning to end.
I also agree. I think you got the right folks in there to push this forward. Hopefully, with the knowledge they have from the city and yourself, David, I think you're on the right track.
Thank you. Jason took your hand up. Go ahead, Jason. Thank you.
Is there any restriction on who can do this? Because I know Assad and Becky and others are mentioned in the grievance and the response. So is that allowed?
So would you like to,
I'm just asking a question. I'm not.
yeah, anybody can step up and speak on behalf of the board.
I'm not stepping up, but I'm asking a question for I'm done. If Gibson's on the meeting, I'm just, because typically I would think that it would be somebody who's not involved or mentioned, but maybe nobody wants to step up. It's just a question. The question is, if you're mentioned in the grievance or you're the respondent, or let's see, Becky is the grievant, and I guess it's against the whole board. I just like a little bit of direction from.
Well, it's unfortunate that we have very little direction coming either from the city or Dunn.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. President, if I may.
Please, Assad, go ahead.
Jason, yes, I did ask that question to Raquel, to Lorenzo, to Gibson, and all of them. There is no restriction in anywhere of who represented. The person who's going to be representing this would answer on behalf of the board, and they have to be like I did so far in the attachment C. They cannot be coming and introducing red herring. And just to answer you, I'm professional enough to separate. I have nothing against Becky. And basically, I'll be your parrot in a way. Whatever is in here, I put it in there. I will not introduce anything and all that. If somebody wants to go in and present it, I mean, they can, but there is no restriction as far as I understand from Lorenzo or this. We asked the question, there is no.
Okay, well, if the answer is that anybody can do it, is that what the department told you?
Yes, exactly.
Correct. We have to choose one board member,
Okay.
and only one board member may attend.
And think of it this way, level 3, you have to be familiar with everything in the rules. You have to even know how many commas, periods, or anything in there, because their position
I'm
is.
just asking a simple question. I'm fine. I just wanted to
Yeah.
know if there's any restriction. That's all I'm asking. And you're telling me no. So thank you. I'm good.
Okay, so on that note, let me call a vote on this to allow Assad Al-Najjar to be our representative at the grievance hearing number 254 on said date to be prescribed by Dunn. It's still open. We don't know if and when it will happen. So we have the motion. We had a second. Margaret, would you mind calling the vote, please?
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Board members present. David Balin.
Yes, Assad, yes.
Okay. Board member Ashad, Vice President Ashad
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Secretary Lori Choi. Secretary.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sorry.
Treasurer Jason Hector.
Yes.
Also present, we have board member Gabriel Conlon.
Yes, I abstain.
Oh, abstain.
Correct.
Okay. Also present, we have board member Becky Levique.
No, I
Levesque.
don't think she's present. She wasn't.
Oh, that's, I'm
present.
sorry, she's absent. I'm sorry. Also present, Board Member Hassan Mimran.
I
Yes.
think he's absent as well.
Oh, I had him checked in. He's on the panelist list.
Hassan is here.
Yes,
Hassan.
Hassan,
Okay,
I'm
so
here.
I will call the vote as David, Belen, Ashad Anajar, Lori Choi, Jason Hector, Gabriel Conlon absent, and Hassan Mimran. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 voting and 1 abstain.
No, you
Correct.
missed Hassan. You missed Hassan.
Hassan.
I
I
have
said
him.
yes.
Yes, Hassan, I'm sorry if I pronounce your names wrong. I apologize so
okay.
much.
That's all
Hassan
right.
Mimran, I have as
I
yes.
can't pronounce his name either.
Yeah, I only have one question. I'm sorry, but I don't see Miran, and I just want to make sure is he here? I don't see him.
No, I don't think he's here.
So Miran is absent.
That's correct. He didn't, I'll recall the vote. We have
Okay, thank you.
David Balin, and please excuse my pronunciation,
No, you're
Ashad
perfect on mine.
Al Najar,
Nice.
Yes.
Lori Choi,
Yes.
Jason Hector. We
Yeah.
have Gabriel as an absent. And
No,
then
No. He's
as
abstaining. He's not absent.
abstaining. Then David Lashner,
Yes.
and then we have Hassan Mimran. So that's
Yes,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 saying yes, and 1 abstention.
And Margaret, if you'd like to make it so much easier for you, you can call us by our first name, and it'll make your life so much easier tonight. So thank you so much for trying. You're doing a
David,
great job. Thank you.
David B and David L.
Motion passes.
6-1.
Thank you. All right. So now that we've taken care of that, let's go ahead and move on to attachment C and move forward on this.
Right. So basically, in item 1 in our response, you can go scroll. Yes.
Yep.
We describe that the grievance. Okay, so I'll just read it so that this way I don't make any assumptions. The PRNC believes that grievance 254 as submitted is defective, especially with respect to the witness statements, and it is without merit. With respect to her complaint, Becky Levesque stated that 1, no misconduct on her part was proven, and 2, that was not given a chance to correct any misconduct. Our response is that 1, the misconduct was proven, and 2, any need to correct misconduct would be related to correcting her related behavior in the future. In other words, she could not retroactively correct past misconduct, but could have avoided issues at following meetings, including those that will occur in the future, by not being disruptive or violating the code of conduct. Now, please go to item 2. In the grievance policy, done section 22.818, article 3, chapter 28 of the LA Administrative Code, section 4C, the policy states that the department will only process a witness statement filed on a witness statement form if the information contained is within the personal knowledge of the witness and relates to the facts and circumstances surrounding the grievance. Each witness statement form will be limited to 1 page and must be signed by the witness under penalty of perjury. A grievant may file no more than 3 witness statements forms in connection with the grievance. So, and can you scroll, David? So now when it comes to the first witness composed by Maria Fisk and submitted by Becky Levesque, it should not have been accepted by Dunn because it does not conform to this 4C. It's a 5-page long and not within the 1-page limit to start with. Also, the statement, once you read it and once the board in level 3 will read it, the statement of Maria Fisk is additionally non-conforming as it does not so much relate to the facts and circumstances of the censure vote agenda item proceedings that are alleged by Ms. Levesque to be misconducted by the PRNC. But instead, she comes in more keen to present legal advice and improperly offer an opinion and interpretation of what Ms. Fisk interpreted occurred when the board took the censure matter on September 9, 2020. So that's the first one. Now, if you go item 3, the second witness statement submitted by previous Assemblywoman Paula Boland is also problematic and is out of order, violating the grievance policy for a few reasons. First, she, like the first witness statement, made a number of additional pages attached, and mostly including questionable content from the Nextdoor website, and that was initiated a couple days prior to even this board hearing the agenda. Secondly, Ms. Boland's comments do not conform to the facts and circumstances of the subject matter. Instead, we are all dismayed that her written statement includes several inflammatory, accusory, and frankly rude comments attacking the elected board members. Her inflammatory words are more of an appropriate scolding at the board and certainly do not reflect that would be expected in a normal witness statement. Specifically, Ms. Boland states that she cannot fathom this sort of sanctioned community meetings, as I heard few facts and ethics. That's a quotation of what she said. We have hard time here to understand what she even meant when she states heard few ethics. She berated the board with additional rude and unnecessary comments, going like, the board, need to be educated about the city policy, and that the board needed to be monitored for propriety, and that she implied here the city to review this non-moderated meeting and to educate the board. And it's our understanding that September 9 meeting was the first and probably the only meeting that Ms. Boland attended. And just not to deviate here, Ms. Boland is the same lady that never was part of the Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council as for the Alicio Canyon, for our fires, our emergency or anything. She serves with Gabriel, David, and myself on the LAPD CPAP, and she sees how the three of us work so hard for this community, on homeless, on you name it. I mean, so for her to come and, make all this, not only against the three of us, but the whole 10 people of the board, it's really, and I'll get back to what we're saying. It reflects our concern that she was brought here only as a former member of the assembly, so that she add gravitas to the grievance. Instead, she took the opportunity here to slight and scold on the board inappropriately, adding insult to the injury, and she slandered the board when she blindly parroted what the talking points of several Nextdoor comments. And by the way, Nextdoor today, for the past few hours prior to this meeting, initiated a lot of attacks against our board, and the person that started it is among our attendees now. And this is not appropriate. Nextdoor is going to take actions, and Nextdoor is aware of what's going on. And Dunn is working actually on a media, policy to prevent such, unprofessional behavior. Nextdoor is an outreach, is not a place where you come and cast stones at people who are volunteers here. We serve the community. Look, I take all this time away from my family to serve this, and same with Balin, Gabriel, Lasher, Lori, and Jason, and Hassan. They all work hard for the people. So it seems that, I'll get back to what it is. While rudely attacking the board, she had no qualms about stating her opinion. And ironically, without any factual basis, she goes ahead and says the board was more interested in their personal feelings rather than the facts of the community. The reality is that the neighborhood council board members throughout the city of LA devote significant time as volunteers in support of the community. To suggest that PRNC board members are any less dedicated than others and in front to our extensive contributions of both of our time, energy, and effort to support Porter Ranch community. Now we come to the third witness, and that's item 4. The last witness is also concerning a problematic. It's by Mr. Dale Penn. He's a PALS board member. And Mr. Penn sees how the three of us, Gabriel, David, and myself, always working, supporting PAL indirectly through the CPAB efforts. He was present in our meeting to ask for donations, which we gladly gave him. But what does he go and write? He writes with substantial bias in her favor. His words dramatically and unnecessarily exaggerated the tone of the discussion on the agenda item, to point that he is not even a credible witness. Specifically, in describing the debate of this item, Mr. Penn states that he was appalled at the public attack, and he repeated word attack or attack 3 times. There was no attack, and the board did not attack Ms. Levy by any angry or coherent. The discussion on September 9 was of a serious issue on a serious course, but transpired without anger. In fact, the board members' tone of voice could better be described as stoic or deliberate. Ms. Levy was certainly not attacked. PRNC board members are shocked for this vicious attack by PAL's board member, whom received funding that same night by PRNC board members to turn around later and slander attack. This remains probably in the future that the board, not tonight, to be addressed to PAL's board. Item 5, with respect to the content of the grievance taken from Nextdoor, a substantial of the portion of the website consists of gossip with many posts and like the winner take it all, no holds barred discussion. There was more 100 comments, and hence you're violating the 3-witness rule. You cannot be introducing 100 of fabricated cut and paste statements made on Nextdoor and presented in as witness statement. So those basically should be stricken out of the whole grievance. It's not in compliance again. And the posts that were edited and hand selected by Becky Levy, and which is a Nextdoor lead, and it's, she should be better than that. To submit with the grievance does not include many of the posts that were added by some of the people cited in the grievance. The other comments include statement that the said things in support of Becky Levy, such as recommending, as well as that the PRNC board should resign, and we should all get our paycheck withheld. I mean, a lot of these people don't realize we are volunteers. We get $0 for our time. We serve without any, any outcome out of it. And then, for example, there is Miss Ward, whose words were including in the grievance, stated that she didn't even know why the censure is happening. She did not even attend July meeting, and stated she doesn't even know the answers, yet they embedded her statement as a witness in there. Many of the Nextdoor comments submitted with the grievance and are found to be related thread are little more than the gossip, and it should be inappropriate to be here. And this is one of the items I raised. And thank you, and we thank Raquel again for pushing hard for the media policy. This grievance and what happened in PRNC back in July, and the attacks from a Chatsworth member, an NC member against us, and not to derail you, is developing a media policy that hopefully, if we had it today, we will not be here today. And item 6, the transcript of Becky Levy herself attached to the grievance and to the official record documents are lies. This is a fact, and that's the only way we could say it. And I hear David's words here, and I didn't want to change it, but he will present to you shortly after I finish more onto that. She told more than once at many meetings about the discussion of the traffic signal of the Wilbur and Rinaldi, that there is concern that she feels her conduct and statement at the July 8th meeting were not disruptive. However, she provided in the grievance fabricated parts of her comments. For example, in the transcript she provides, the recording of the Zoom call states, I live at the corner of Wilbur and Rinaldi, and I have picked up a lot of dead bodies of that corner. PRNC member David Lasher is still and remains very concerned about these extremely specific comments. And there is no bodies picked up. LAPD Valley Traffic cannot vouch for this, and there is no fatalities for the past 20 years. Now, if Ms. Levik had attended any of the meetings we had, when the developer came in, when there was a presentations and all that, she would not have accused me or the board or anybody or the the planning committee of not doing their job. There was presentation, there was minutes, and if she had stayed long enough for any of the meetings, she would have realized what's going on. Okay, I'm taking a breath. If she lies and exaggerates about where she lives, what she personally experienced, and about her own actual actions, and falsely stating she was involved in the emergency response of fatality that never occurred, all to support upgrading a traffic light, it's rational to believe that she felt that me and myself, Asad Al-Najjar, as a city employee involved in street lighting along the line, had acted somewhere against her interest. And that's when it's like she referred to me as someone who lives on the other side of the neighborhood council and isn't daily affected. Moments later, Becky insulted and repeatedly interrupted PRNC President Issam Najm and Asad Al-Najjar and board member David Lasher, and she made statement as there had not been a community meeting to discuss, or there was no intention of signal upgrades. After interrupting her fellow members and making somewhat biting statements, she sardonic finished with her last interview. I'm just sorry that community meetings aren't for the community. I mean, come on, that's rude, that's snarky, disruptive. I don't know if these words are not describing the situation. And remember, we are focused only on one day, one night. I deleted what my colleague David Lasher added there of the fiascos we had in October, November, December, and even in January of 2021. We deleted those. And this grievance and all those incidents are grounds for another censure. There are grounds for, I mean, Becky, we love her. I love her. She is a dear lady, but we cannot take this. We have a job to do. We have Alicia Canyon. We have homeless. We have COVID-19. We have a community. The remedy is right there. I mean, given the items listed above, PRNC feels that the proper remedy is to dismiss the grievance at this level, even though he has since resigned. Mr. Ex-President Issam Najm always managed the meeting with the decorum and professionalism, and even though he was being rudely interrupted, he managed to accommodate her. The entire situation would have been avoided if Ms. Levik have been present at the PRNC meetings. I mean, she missed 3 in a row and this happened. It's not our fault. Ms. Levik erroneously stated that a community meeting had not occurred, when in fact it did. That apparently led her to maliciously insinuate that Mr. Al-Najjar had some way acted inappropriately. The PRNC board is composed of dedicated professional individuals who understand the rules and code of conduct they are expected to follow. This grievance is without merit, as the board followed every correct set of the censure procedure in complete coordination with DUN, the concurrence of the LA City Attorney Office, and all the deadlines, the timeline, the language was very delicately put together and submitted to Becky Levik. And her grievance here does not comply with DUN policy. DUN, as I stated earlier, is in infancy. They accepted it. However, the only remedy left here for PRNC undone is to reject this baseless grievance. And I know I took a long time, but I think I brought you to all the facts. And I clear the floor to, if possible, Mr. President, to David Lasher, in case I missed something or if he needs to elaborate on an area that I didn't cover well in what he presented. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on 1 second. Due to done regulations, I need to ask Jason to turn his video on if it's possible, unless we have technical difficulties. But would you let us know, Jason?
Yeah, I'm here. You want to see me? I'm here.
Because people, that's why we have it on video. Thank you.
I can keep my video off. I mean, I'm just here.
No, okay, we didn't know, but they like to see
Who said I
the
can't have my
community
video off?
through for transparency. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Lasher. And then I'd like to get the board comments and see if we need to make changes. I guess I should ask the board, do we want to, go ahead, David. Gibson?
I was going to only say a couple things briefly. I'm not going to rehash what Assad pretty much read the entire statement. I was asked to write a first draft, which I did, given my experience in writing professionally for a living, this kind of report, and my background in HR and local government. Beyond that, it was certainly edited, which was well and good. I also think it's kind of telling, unfortunately, that Becky's not here to participate, which is kind of sad. I went back and listened to the recordings 3 or 4 times of July 8th. And I don't know how to describe it as any other way. I mean, Becky goes to the same church I go to. I've known her for a few years with respect to that, and on the board before I was a board member. And I've gone back and listened to recordings. And between I don't know if she tried to tell me a few days ago on a phone call that when she said she picked up all these dead bodies and she lives in that corner, she said that was a figure of speech. And I said, but there are no bodies to, she goes, I didn't pick up any dead bodies, but I was there. And I personally talked to, without filing a formal FOI request, I spoke with the director of the statistics for Valley Traffic, a sergeant there, and Captain, I think it's Egan, also called me back. And they affirmed that there hasn't been a single traffic fatality at that intersection. Their computerized records go back to like 2008. And they said beyond that, verbally, that we can't recall one before, easily go back to 2000, if not earlier. And given everything surrounded, the tension regarding that light, those kind of, I mean, I was there. It's strange that it went that far. And I think it just kind of relates to the whole mindset, how this went. Again, listening to those tapes, listeners say, I thought community meetings were for the community. It wasn't called for. It was snarky. It was rude. If I'd said it to anybody else, I would hope someone would check me and say, hey, that's unnecessary. Let's have a polite discussion. I'm not even going to go into other stuff, the follow-on meetings, but I don't know how we're supposed to allow her to correct misconduct. You can't ring the bell and go backwards in time. It's more of a, hey, let's go forward and be civil with each other. So I'm not going to, beyond that, that's all I would say. I don't want to rehash all that.
Okay, I'm going to put this out to the board, and we're going to go through this document, this grievance, and I'm sure we've all gone through it. So if you have corrections that need to be taken care of, please let us know. I want to bring in item number 1.
Can I ask you?
Dave, I'd like to go back and clean up a little. Found the redraft had some punctuation, things like that. I'd like to just clean the technical part of it, but not the content.
Okay, so that's fine. Let me go ahead. That's fine. Jason?
I agree with, I don't think that the witness statements necessarily, because what it says here in the paragraph, information with respect to witness, information contained is within the personal knowledge of the witnesses and relates to the facts and circumstances surrounding the grievance. So to the extent that any of the witness statements relate to the facts and circumstances of the grievance, I think it's a lot of back and forth on those. So I'm okay with that. The thing that I don't understand is I'm reading the grievance here, and in bold, it says that, let's see, it says, they also outside of the motion, but in discussion of the censure, they accuse me of prejudice, anti-Semitism, and racism without cause or evidence. So the board is taking a hit based off of some comments that were made, and I'm not sure, this doesn't respond to it. Maybe I'm wrong, but how did you guys discuss, David and Assad, since you prepared this, did you discuss how you would respond to, because I did watch the video, and you do acknowledge that there were, what was the statements that were made by one of our board members regarding the anti-Semitism, the racist?
Was that later in September, not on the July 8th meeting? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Jason, if you
It was
remember
on
the
the
rules,
meeting
we're
of the-
discussing,
It was
we're
on the
dis-
meeting, hold on, Assad. It was
Yeah.
on the meeting of it was on the grievance meeting. It was on
Doesn't
the
apply to our
meeting,
response from July 8th.
the three of you put forth the motion, and then the board member comment was, I mean, we all heard it. And, I just am concerned that if people can say things like that, then, I would never want anybody to accuse me of being anti-Semitic or being racist, and, how would it feel if somebody accused you of doing that? So as a board, I'd like to know, is there a response? Because if we don't respond, then we're conceding that. In other words, we're not responding to it. It carries through. It's like when you go have a small claims court and you don't show up to court. So what is the response to those comments? Is it included here? Because I don't see it in the grievance response.
David, do you want to answer or?
One second.
Point of order.
Go ahead.
Point of order.
Point of
first.
order.
I wasn't, you mentioned the three of us. I didn't have anything to do with pushing a censure vote against Becky. I
No, the
responded to this
three-
letters, but I had nothing to do with that part of it.
The three people that brought the censure motion were who?
Not me.
It was, it wasn't,
Assad,
okay, yeah, it wasn't you, David.
Iran,
Asher.
and
It
then
was-
myself as the vice president.
Right, okay, so those three people brought the censure motion, and then at the part of the board member comment, there was that accusation, and I just really have a problem with,
And the board, and unfortunately, Jason, the board member that made that comment is not at the meeting today. So we can't speak on behalf of that board member.
Plus,
So
Mr. President, if I
Assad,
may.
go ahead.
Yeah, Jason, you need to remember something here.
wait, hold on.
No, before you hold on,
No.
look,
Jason, let
I
Assad
just
speak,
handed
please.
you the grievance, and
Yeah, I have it right
we
here.
analyze, yes,
I know where he's going.
and in an hour, you're analyzing what David Lasher took 3 weeks to analyze. Let me get to a point here. The grievance as it stands, regardless of what's in there, is invalid. The format is wrong. Whatever is saying in there is not valid here. Witness statement are not in compliance. It should have 3 statements.
understand all
Hold on. Regardless of what she said, before we acknowledge these statements and all that, this grievance need to go back to level 1. She needs to go back to Gibson, come back with level 1 and say, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is what's going on. And we know, we come and say, this person said that, this person said this. And even when the remark made at the time of the anti-Semitic, I immediately shut that person off. The video reflects it. But before you get to all that, Jason, we are rejecting the grievance. It's not in compliance.
I got that part. I understand the compliance part, but the
Hold on,
question,
everybody. Let Jason finish.
are we going to, I think that there should be a response to, I mean, are we acknowledging that, are we saying by not responding, are we in agreement that we're not responding to the accusation of anti-Semitism, we're not going to address that? Because I don't see it anywhere here. If you could tell me if it's addressed.
I'll be happy to answer that. It's not addressed because beyond what Assad just said on that whole, we're rejecting the claim. this is a response to her concerns about the July 8th meeting and how the censure was brought. It's got nothing to do with the conversation that occurred
Right
in
here.
September regarding the censure.
It's the
Her
first
point is
paragraph.
that I wasn't, I'm responding to the grievance. I mean,
Right
I'm
here.
responding to the censure.
This is
We're
agreement.
responding to her complaint based on the censure and how it went, not the comments made on September 9th. It's got nothing to do with this, our response.
Well,
I'm
then-
not saying we can't respond to it, but it doesn't have anything to do with our response to the grievance.
So is that the response then? Is that it has nothing to do with it? I mean, I just think that there should be some response to, it is in the grievance right here. It's the third.
Jason, you're at the meeting. Do you want to respond to it?
You're responding to it now. Go ahead.
Jason, be my guest. You want to go on the record and respond to it, please?
Yeah, I don't think that kind of action is appropriate for people to accuse somebody, like if you're going to call somebody
But
anti-Semitic.
you're not responding to you're not responding to the comment. You're being a hypothetical response. So put yourself in that position if you're going to do that.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Well, you want to make a response to somebody else's claim.
Well, Assad also pointed out, we're not discussing everything that happened with the certain person in November and December and some of the continual snarky stuff and that kind of stuff. We're responding to a complaint. The grievance was filed about how the censure came about. There was her perspective that one, she couldn't correct the behavior. Two, we didn't follow the policy guidelines and bringing a censure vote. We're not responding to everything occurred or was said in September, much less October, November.
Look, I always love Jason's recommendations and all that. Here's what I think. We could add in the recommendation that in the end we say our remedy for PRNC and done to reject this baseless grievance as submitted. However, the board and done will conduct a grievance level 1 with Becky to address her concern. How is that? We will sit with her and discuss the grievance. We've been taken, level 1 was taken away from us, the oral, and the negotiation for between level 1 and level 2 was prevented. All of a sudden, we're thrown in level 2, given, by the way, we need to submit this immediately, whatever we agree on tonight or tomorrow morning. And then next thing, we'll find ourselves in level 3. If it makes you happy, Jason, we can add in there this statement that, with no error to us, no error, I cannot be responding to something that is not in compliance with the rules. We are rules abiding. I don't break rules. Nobody.
Compliance. I'm not, the witness statements aren't in the compliance, but if you don't respond to that part of the censure, then it's just going to be acknowledged as a fact when it goes to bonk, and they're going to come down on our board. And I don't think those comments were appropriate. You can't accuse somebody of something without, if somebody does something to indicate that they're racist, then, you can turn around and call them a racist. But if there's no evidence that somebody is acting, against people of Jewish faith, which is what anti-Semitism is.
Which was made by a Jewish member, and he's not here to defend himself. So, Jason, you're taking us in a circle, and the gentleman who made the remark that we shut him up immediately then is not present.
Yeah.
I mean,
I hope you guys all agree that those remarks were not appropriate.
I agree with you totally, and that's why immediately I told him, shut up.
That.
Huh? Nobody agrees on anti-Semitism.
I made my
No, we all agree that it's wrong. Absolutely.
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna support this unless it has something that addresses that, because I don't think it doesn't respond to the what the grievance is saying. I mean, it says right here that they accuse me of prejudice, anti-Semitism, and racism. I'm just reading on the second page.
I don't think there was any comment about prejudice or racism. I think that a board member made a comment that he shouldn't have made, and he needs to be held accountable for that. And he's not here to respond. But I would like to get back to our grievance, so we can
I'm done.
move forward on this.
And that was in September, not July.
Okay, Lori. Your hand is up.
I'm sorry, I was just gonna agree with Assad and say that was just a board member's comment, offhand comment that we shouldn't even have to acknowledge at this point.
Let me get back to item number 2, to the grievance. Do we have any changes that need to be done on item number 2?
Lasher?
Lori?
Hang on a second.
Can you go back to item number 2 there, that
Yeah, we're here.
the third paragraph where it says the first witness statement composed by Maria Fisk and submitted by Becky Levesque should not have been accepted by Dunn as it does not conform. The word should be conform, not confirm.
Oh,
C-O-N-F-O-R-M.
Not
Yes,
to throw Assad under the bus, but their number of typos I want to correct.
yeah,
Okay,
this
so we need to-
conform with the
Anyway.
policy.
Okay, so let's make that note, please. We'll be changing that to conform.
I'm looking at the,
It does not confirm.
oh,
Conform.
Should
yeah,
say conform,
Yeah.
right.
If we're gonna,
okay,
sorry,
done.
if we're gonna
David?
do that, on item 1, the second paragraph, third line, there's a hyphen after the, I'm sorry, after that, our response is that. That hyphen after the colon should not be there.
Right there. Yeah,
Right, got it?
remove that.
I didn't realize we were doing this.
We
So
need
let
to
it-
because we
Sure.
have to submit.
I understand.
All right. Okay, let's back up. Do we have any other changes on to item number 1? Okay. Got that one. Item number 2. David?
Item 2, the last line, first to last line, but instead it's more akin to presenting, not present legal advice, to presenting legal advice.
Oh, you want to put representing? Okay, presenting.
It's more akin
Yes.
to presenting legal advice. Second.
Any other changes to item number 2?
I don't have any, I don't think.
We move up to item number 3.
I wrote this several days ago and I read it earlier this afternoon. I knew there were some things to correct, but I didn't realize we were going to do it right now. So I apologize for that, but just give me a moment. Anybody else can chime in, obviously.
No.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, Jason?
When you're saying secondly, Mrs. Boland's comments do not conform to the facts and circumstances of the subject matter of the proceedings, are you basically saying she didn't have firsthand knowledge of, isn't that what you're saying? Is it,
No.
what is the intent of that? What are you trying to say that,
Well, Jason, if you had read it, and now you're getting us into a different area. Maria Fisk, I don't know how much you know, but she has a lot of problems from the Englander issue started and all that fighting in her neighborhood council to the events were led. She resigned from her neighborhood council. She had a lot of negative energy still in there, and somehow that directed to our
I thought we're
Board.
talking Pam Boland's statement. This is Pam Boland, not Maria Fisk.
What about it? Now you're an item. What was the question?
No, Jason. I mean, so we're on item number 3.
Okay.
Go down to secondly, Ms. Boland's comment. He wants to know,
It says, secondly, Miss Boland's comments do not conform to the facts and circumstances.
Right.
I guess I would say she didn't
Go,
really address
Asher.
the facts and circumstances. She just, went on a rant
was
about how,
hearsay.
Right,
yeah,
she
we're,
wasn't
we're,
there,
we're
right?
stupid and need to be educated.
It's not firsthand, see, yeah, so that could be worded better, I guess aren't you trying to say that she wasn't on the meeting? Was she on the meeting or no?
No.
I don't, yeah, I don't believe so, no.
No. So it's not firsthand knowledge.
So here's a board. This is what I need you to get at. This is why we sent this out. This is why you needed to look at it ahead of time. We, I know everybody doesn't want to go word by word. So if you
Yeah,
need
just
to,
move on. Move on.
skim ahead and catch what you need to catch.
I'll give you a couple typos if you want them.
Go ahead. No, of
Item
course.
4, second line, Prince Palace board member should be
Hold on. We
Mr.
want to
Gale.
get
Hold on,
through.
hold on,
Let's,
hold on. You're
we're
going
going
too
to go
fast.
through item
Sorry.
number 3 first.
Okay,
Let's
continue.
finish number 3.
Fair enough.
Do we have any other changes to item number 3, please?
PRNC, the third line from the bottom, to suggest that PRNC board members, because it refers to PRNC, board and members should be capitalized.
I think the PRNC itself is,
It's capitalized.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
you want
capitalized. You
board
don't-
members too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
B and M, board members, just
Okay,
like Palace
done.
board member at the bottom. That's
No
in a couple
problem.
places. Tell me when we get to 4.
Done, easy.
We're gonna get there. Okay. So we'll make that other change to the Porter Ranch board members. Item number 4,
Second line, Palace board member, and parentheses should be a Palace board member.
Oh, you want A? Okay.
Yep. And then 3 lines down, Mr. Penn states that he was appalled. It's past tense, so Mr. Penn stated
Stated.
that he was appalled at this public attack. Just like we say repeated, not repeats.
Yeah, just a second. I'm looking.
Stated.
Oh, stated.
Yep.
Well, because you refer to it states and then you put quotation. Okay, but
It's
you're
past
the
tense.
author.
He
I'm not going to
stated.
argue with you. You're the author. Stated.
I
Okay,
write like 10 hours a day for a living. That's all I do.
right. You're
Um,
the author. Okay, stated. Yes.
4th line from the bottom and the second line, the board members again should be capitalized.
Yeah, I did that already. That.
Good to go. The last word in 4, board, should be capitalized because it refers directly to PALs.
Oh, okay.
I'm scanning 5 real quick.
it's okay. Board, do we have any other changes that you see for item number 4? Moving on to item number 5.
The 5th line, the semicolons should not be there. It's Becky Levesque. It should be on the 5th line down, selected by Becky Levesque, semicolon, and neighborhood lead. That
Should be
neighborhood lead
what?
should be in parentheses.
Okay.
Changing the semicolon to parentheses.
Easy.
I want to say 3 lines down from that. These other comments include statements that said things. That should be, these other comments include statements. Kill that said things in. Should be, these other comments include statements in support of Becky Levesque, comma.
Hold on,
Such
I
as
can't
recommended.
find it.
Do you want to
I'm sorry.
take out that said things?
Yes, that said things.
Where at?
And-
I lost you.
Hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7.
7. 7th line down in item 5. That sentence should read, these other comments include statements in support of Becky Levesque, comma, such as recommending from there,
So we will remove that said things.
correct? And then put a comma after Levesque.
I can't find it, Mr. President.
7 on item number 5, go 7 lines down.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Support
see
of
where-
Becky Levesque. Yes.
Okay, go back. So it says, so you're going to remove that said things. It's going to say these other comments include statements in support of Becky LeBeck, comma,
Okay. and
removing.
So remove
said
that
thing.
said things
Yes, thank you.
in support and then comma. Yes.
Yeah,
And
Yes,
then
sir,
such
that's
as.
fine.
and that's it, yeah.
Okay.
I don't have anything else for 5. Certainly anybody else
There
can
is
chime in.
language to be heard seriously. Yes, correct. Move on to item number 6.
Yes.
Transcripts of Becky LeBeck attached to the grievance.
Second line, there's a space after it and she. There should be no space there. There should be an extra hyphen. This is
Where?
a fact, second line, number 6. This is a
Just a
fact, and
moment.
the only way to state it, hyphen, hyphen, no space. She told.
So you want to remove what?
The space.
Oh, the space. How did that happen? Okay.
Lori, go ahead. Please raise your hand.
Sorry. My only concern about this whole paragraph here is I feel like it's a little vague as the beginning as to why it even matters. This whole description about what happened at the traffic signal at Wilbur and Rinaldi. I feel like we're missing a little bit of description for someone who didn't know what was happening, that the whole meeting that we had originally that she had missed. I don't know how to explain myself here.
I know.
I
what you're
feel
trying to
like,
say.
You need us to have a storyline in front of it.
yeah, just to say
Yeah.
something about the fact that this was about, the meeting was about the construction of the new building happening on XYZ, Wilbur and
And it's
Rinaldi,
the
that corner.
portions we removed because it started getting,
Too
but I
long.
see. Yeah, it's not started getting discussion of the July 7th. It's getting away from the September. But
Yeah. But
yeah.
I agree with Lori. That came to my mind too. That particular
Writing context is
statement
fine.
about the Wilbur is actually where it tempered everybody to get to that mode of discussion, and Becky just kept going and going. So I think it's really important to have a storyline there, because that's how the whole flaming of the situation happened, and everything else followed. So there should be something in there as that signifies.
I mean, let me look at the.
It should be. I don't want to think out loud. You almost want to do something like it should be noted that the grievance was directly associated with a spirited discussion specifically about a traffic signal and the building development at the intersection of Wilbur and Aldi. Coming out of that discussion was conversation among board members that led to the disruptive statements.
It's the portions that David you have is still in the remedy. It's still, if you go to the remedy, it's in there. Maybe we take it from the remedy up there.
Mhm.
It's in the remedy second paragraph. David, do you want to go to the remedy second
Moment,
paragraph?
please. One moment, please. I was just, where are we at? Oh, one
Down,
second.
the other way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this it, Assad?
The second paragraph, the one that starts with the entire situation would have been avoided. Is that what, David,
Oh,
you feel should go up there?
Yeah, he's there.
Which I didn't mention that, you did. I was saying you can start with that, but I was saying for item 6.
No, I mean to take the paragraph that you put in the remedy.
Sure.
And
fine.
Bring it up.
It's fine.
And
this is not my document. This is my draft. Let the board edit it as the board sees fit.
I mean, there is the paragraph that we have in the remedy that reads,
sure,
the entire situation would have been avoided if Ms. Levick had been present at the PRNC meetings held at the Porter Ranch Community School, or at the meetings that she had left or absent, where the business owner involved in planned construction at the intersection discussed in depth his pending plans. Instead, on July 8, Ms. Levick erroneously stated that a community meeting had not occurred when in fact she had not attended. That apparently led her to maliciously insinuate that Mr. Al-Najjar had in some way acted inappropriately or was inappropriately connected to work planned for the intersection. Her own disruptive comments and behavior led actually to the censure against her.
I would say take that paragraph, put it in front of item 5, as we discussed. That's fine. Move that to item 5, and then I would say
Correct.
the meetings, that meeting occurred months before, would have been present at the PRNC meetings held several months earlier at the Porter Ranch Community School, or she'd read the notice of that meeting. I think that's a good point.
Yeah, it needs some background, and
Yeah,
that
okay.
That's fine.
provides the background.
Hey,
Yeah.
there you go.
It's basically,
Well, because we removed a lot of what David had initially put, and probably with that all removed, this was removed too. Okay.
So yeah, move that to the front of item 6 is fine. I was just
It-
thinking out
right
loud. we
now
should
it's
add
right
context.
now it sits after the traffic signal at Wilbur and Rinaldi. So it reads like this: related to the original discussion of the traffic signal at Wilbur and Rinaldi, the entire situation would have been avoided if Ms. Levick had been present at the PRNC meeting. And it tells the whole paragraph that I just read for you.
I move, that's fine for me. I don't think I'd make a motion.
So
but
what is the remedy on this?
moving that paragraph up to after the third line at item 6. So the third line of item 6, what Assad's saying is the third line, item 6, where the sentence ends with at Wilbur and Rinaldi, take that paragraph from the remedy and move it up. And then I would
Right.
make this is concerning as a new paragraph. And the only thing I wanted to say was when we move that up, reference a meeting that occurred several months earlier. So there's context of when that original thing happened. It didn't happen that night or the month before. It was a few months earlier.
So Assad, can you read what it's going to state, please?
Let me share it on the screen, Mr. President. You want to give me the share capability?
Go ahead. Uh, Don't you have access to that?
You see it?
Not yet. Okay, hold on. There you go. Now I see it. You're up.
Yeah, so now you see item 6.
A moment. Go ahead and read it, please.
Item 6, the transcripts Becky Levick attached to the grievance and to the official record documents are lies. This is a fact that, and the only way to say it, she told at more than one meeting related to the original discussion of the traffic signal at Wilbur and Rinaldi. The entire situation would have been avoided if Ms. Levick had been present at the PRNC meetings held at the Porter Ranch Community School, or read the meeting minutes that she was absent or left early where the business owner involved in plant construction at the intersection of Wilbur and Rinaldi discussed in depth his pending plans. Instead, on July 8, Ms. Levick erroneously stated that a community meeting had not occurred when in fact she had not just attended. That apparently led her to maliciously insinuate that Mr. Al-Najjar had in some way acted inappropriately or was inappropriately connected to work planned for the intersection. Her own disruptive comments and behavior led to the censure against her. And then we continue whatever it was in there. This is concerning as Becky Levick feels that her conduct and statements at the July 8 were not disruptive. However, reviewing the transcript she provided in the grievance, it's clear Ms. Levick fabricated parts of her comments. For example, in her transcript and in the recording of the Zoom call, Becky stated that I live at the corner. And, I haven't changed the rest.
All right, we're fine. Board members, do we have any changes? Are we good?
Looks good to me now.
Okay.
Item 6, PRNC board member should be capitalized. It's my name, PRNC board member,
Assad,
David
Assad,
Lasher.
we're just gonna keep yours up there since you are already working on it, so we'll just keep it
Right.
up. Thank you.
Got it.
I
And
think we need to add an item 7. I would ask that you consider adding an item 7, addressing the comments that I was mentioning earlier, the anti-Semitic comment, and that we don't support those kind of accusations.
Can I take a stab at that?
David, please.
Fine, at number 7 and say, notwithstanding, unrelated to the response to the grievance, the PRNC board unilaterally condemns anti-Semitism as referenced potentially as
Take your time. Why don't
fully
you write
condemns
it
the
so that
statements
you,
potential made off the cuff, you know,
Condemns
at
the
a by a board member.
Condemns the
Which have no relation to
accusations.
the complaint.
It should be condemns the accusations of anti-Semitism
Fair enough.
without just cause.
so you want someone to tell me exactly, please read it out so that I type it
Number
as you.
7, item 7.
And go slowly
Uh,
because I'm a
I
slow
understand.
typer.
I understand. Although it is unrelated to the response to the grievance, comma.
I have another, if I don't mean to interrupt you, David,
No.
I have verbiage that I would like for the board to consider.
Go for it.
And it states something like this, is that the Port Orange Neighborhood Council, this communication was not made on behalf of the Port Orange Neighborhood Council, and it does not represent the opinion or position of the Port Orange Neighborhood Council in any way. So I think, I think something to that extent, it should be stated, because that's
great.
not us.
So you could say that the accusations of anti-Semitism
I hope so.
do not, and then what David was saying, right? Fill it
Yeah,
in.
I think we can say we condone anti-Semitism in all its kinds and forms. And this is a position of PRNC. And whatever may have been expressed, you want to put that it is not the opinion of the PRNC. And as you said, it's unrelated to this particular grievance.
I love that, Hassan. I wanted to make sure that it was stated it's not germane, because we don't go into anything else that happened after July 8th. But hey, we just want to make this sure it's clear. And then both
So-
what David said and both what Hassan said, I think should be incorporated. It's
So,
fantastic.
Hassan, if you can start the sentence over again and start slower so that Assad can write it out.
But David has it started there, and it's
Basically, what I said was that the Port Orange Neighborhood Council condones anti-Semitism,
Does not condone.
does
Do
not
not
condone.
condone.
Condemn. No, he meant to say condemn.
Condemns.
He meant to say
Condemns, that's what I
condemns.
meant.
Condemns. Okay.
MNS.
Anti-Semitism in all its types and shape, or all types and in all
I'll correct the in all.
It's accusations of
No.
anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I think,
and we are not taking side with any particular person, frankly. I mean, this is hurtful to me particularly because I did not even, I basically did not, I stayed neutral on this. But the fact that this has come back to haunt the entire board, and then with these accusations, and it really upsets me because I never made any statement. And again, this is against the board, and I'm a member of the board.
I think we
Let
need
me-
to, I
want
think
me
one
to
of the things
handle
that,
Since I brought it up, do you want me to try and put this all together? I think I can do it. Unless somebody else.
go ahead, Jason, let's see what you got.
All right. All right, so start where it says item 7. The PRNC, yeah, right there. The PRNC does not,
Board members.
okay, that whatever, does not support any accusations of
Any and all accusations.
any and all accusations of anti-Semitism.
It shouldn't just outline anti-Semitism. It should outline, we have to, if you're going to bring this up, we have to
I'm not done.
acknowledge that a board member.
The whole package.
made-
I'm getting there, David. I'm getting there.
Okay.
That's coming next.
Okay,
Yeah, does not support any and all accusations of anti-Semitism, and the remark made is not. And then what's that verbiage you were using, David? Is not the opinion of
is not made on behalf of the Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council,
right.
Does not
as it does
represent.
not
personal
represent the
opinion.
opinion or position of the PRNC in any way.
Mhm.
The personal statement of an individual board member does not reflect the positions of the board, the opinion of the board.
Of the PRNC, period.
In any way, in any way.
Period.
If I may add one
Hold on.
word.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, let me just finish. Okay, and then the next sentence is going to be what Lasher was working on. Basically, what your argument, David, is that it's not related, right, to this. So go ahead and add that on, and I think we got it. Unless somebody else-
I would say the board feels it's important, although it occurred at the censure meeting and is unrelated to the grievance itself, PRNC board feels it is important to state the following,
yeah, you
or
could-
to address a comment made at the censure hearing.
Yeah, although this comment was made by an individual board member, it is not related to the response of this grievance itself. Does that sound good?
Straight through, perfect, yep.
Although
And
this comment was made by an individual board member, and then fill it in, David, L. It is not related to the, does that look okay? It is not related to the response.
Well, I was starting from the front saying, man,
No, this is good. Just say, although this comment was made by an individual board member and it's not related to the response to this grievance itself.
It is our position as the neighborhood council that it is not related to,
no, I don't know why you're doing that.
Mhm.
no?
No.
Okay, never mind.
No,
You handle it, David. This is-
no, you're doing a great job. That was fantastic. The middle part was great. Although unrelated to the grievance itself, the board, PRNC, whatever, board feels it's
Mhm.
important to address a comment made or comments made by an individual board member at the September 8th meeting where the censure was, the censure discussion occurred, the censure vote occurred. And then the rest of it, we condemn the rest.
So Assad, go back to after the although,
Read it
Okay.
back.
although
Yes.
unrelated to the grievance itself,
The PRNC board feels it is important to address.
So I
the
take this and put it
comments made
above.
by
no,
You-
that's right,
the-
leave it right there.
the
No,
comments
So I
Wait a
don't
made-
move
second.
it there? Okay, okay.
Just
I'm-
keep going, then we'll move it.
I think one
Okay.
person should give.
Go ahead, Laurie.
Yeah, Lori, go
I
ahead.
lost, go ahead, no, go back to David. I lost my train. Go
Okay.
ahead, David.
Although
Although
unrelated
unrelated to the grievance, the
itself,
PRNC board, the grievance itself, the PRNC board feels it is important to address the comments made by an individual board member
feels it is important to
to
address.
address the comments of an individual board member that occurred
I think we should
on
state,
September
I
8th.
think
during the
we should
censure
state
discussion.
erroneous comment.
I don't know how to spell erroneous, David. Hold on.
ERRONEOUS.
I don't
Hold
think
on, hold on.
you should put
E-
erroneous in there. That's a
E-
confusion.
Oh, you
Not
don't
there,
want
in front of comments.
In front of comments, it'd be erroneous comment,
How do you
because
know
it's not comments, it was just a comment.
Okay,
it was a board member comment?
Right, take the S off. Back up, erroneous, ERRON.
The comment of an individual, yeah. How do you
even
know it's
inappropriate.
erroneous? How do you know it's
Inappropriate comments.
So it was not erroneous. It was unfounded. It was not based in with
Unsubstantiated. It was
Unsupported.
unsubstantiated.
yes, unsubstantiated or unsupported comment.
Unsubstantiated and inappropriate. They were inappropriate, unsubstantiated and inappropriate comments. And then that flows right into the board as a whole condemned. Those were not the
Take
comments
out
of the
erroneous
board.
then.
Bah.
Unsubstantiated, correct.
They got
Take out
erroneous.
erroneous.
You want
David.
erroneous or
All
leave
right,
it?
you can
No,
leave it
kill
there.
erroneous.
Okay, that's fine.
I
That's
don't think
Comma
erroneous
then,
should be in
after
there.
erroneous.
Please take erroneous out. I don't think it,
All right.
that's a conclusion.
So-
There was an error made. You can't
He
conclude.
didn't make an error. He said something inappropriate. It wasn't an error.
You don't-
Unsubstantiated and inappropriate comments made by an individual board member,
Right.
period. And the rest of that, the board universally condemns, These,
Take out erroneous then, please.
All right.
now you know how to spell it.
So item 7, do you want it to start the way it is or I move?
Okay, I've got one more. Can you,
Hold So item 7.
change,
Yeah.
can you change after remarks was, not is?
Where?
Second line, remarks, it wasn't is. It was not made on behalf of the PRNC nor represented the opinion.
You want to go ahead and read it, David? Anybody?
Go ahead.
You, Jason.
Okay, item 7, the PRNC board members
Do not.
do not support any and all accusations of anti-Semitism, and the remark is singular. And the remark was not made on behalf of the PRNC.
And does not represent the opinion
We have nor
and
nor-
does not represent.
I got it. Don't worry, David. Nor does it represent PRNC, nor does it, there you go, represent the opinion or position of the PRNC board members in any way.
I'd kill members of the PRNC board anyway.
Okay.
You already state board members in the first sentence, and I'd move that although up to the first sentence,
Yeah, that's all one paragraph, correct.
Mhm.
Yes.
and that goes to the head of the sentence.
Of
Paragraph.
number 7, correct.
Mhm.
Okay.
Cool.
I'll read it back one more
Done.
time.
Sure.
Very
That's
fast.
good.
Although unrelated to the grievance itself, the PRNC board feels it is important to address the unsubstantiated comment of an individual board member that occurred. And then do you want to put the date on or?
Yeah, I'd say it's September 8th.
September
during the
9 is
censure
September
discussion on September
9,
8th.
David.
Yeah,
I'm
September
sorry, during
9.
the censure, during the
2020.
September 9th censure discussion on the censure item
CENSUR. Okay.
that occurred on September 9th.
And
Okay, that's
Good.
good, but that occurred on,
So remove that.
no, you're
Fine.
good. That
No,
occurred
it's fine.
on,
Just put
On
on
after
before
occurred.
second.
and
No.
no, don't. Just
right in
after
front of September,
occurred to
same
put
line.
on.
There you go.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
On during the censure discussion. Good to go.
Okay, the PRNC board does not support any and all accusations of anti-Semitism, and the remark was not made on behalf of the PRNC, nor does it represent the opinion or position of the PRNC board in any way.
I
Okay,
need to go back to condone, does not
The only-
condones. We don't, it's not that we don't support it. It's like, what, Sasan said, the PRNC board members condemn any and all accusations. Not that we're not supporting it, we condemn it.
I agree, yeah.
I have a question.
So here,
PRNC board condemns.
PRNC,
Take out members.
Condemns
take out members.
any and all accusation of anti-Semitism.
So kill, do not support.
Condemns.
Take that out. Do
And-
not support.
I take that out? Do not
Yeah,
Do not
support?
because-
support.
Yeah.
Done.
Get out.
Out. Yeah, I think that's a strong sentence.
Put a comma after PRNC in the second line.
Yes, Laurie.
And this is just a question. I'm not saying that we should do this. I'm just asking. Should we make a statement here? I know we're saying we don't condone any sort of anti-Semitism and the remark was uncalled for. But should we tie that to the fact that this has nothing to do with what the censure was about in the first
Well,
place? Like, we
that's the
don't,
first, that's his first sentence,
okay,
although unrelated to the grievance itself.
okay, that's not what I thought it meant. Okay. I thought this
should
was
be a
just about her
comma.
agreements. I'm talking
There
about
should
the
be a
original
comma after
censure.
itself.
There
Correct.
should be a
Hassan.
comma after its
Correct.
first line.
First line after itself. Absolutely.
Hold on,
Said
hold on.
right after, although unrelated to the agreement itself, comma.
Correct. Right there. Perfect.
David, do you think we should add something to where it says the board will hold the board member fully accountable for his actions of what he stated in the meeting?
I don't think so.
that-
because
I
we don't
think
know what
it-
the future holds. That's up to the board.
Because we're saying in the letter, you're saying pretty much, you know, it wasn't representing us, etc. But you're letting someone say that and saying it's not representing us, but it was said at our meeting. So we don't. I think we should protect ourselves by making a statement saying we will hold that board member accountable, or you know, something in that perspective.
Well,
I think, I'm not sure. Is Gibson on the line?
well, you
'cause-
can say that we leave.
Gibson is not on the line.
We leave the interpretation really up to Dunn on how they're going to,
It's yet undetermined. It's yet determined if any action.
so how this would work out is that the board would have to file a grievance, a censure against that board member.
Exactly.
But we would have
So-
to wait and see
and-
because it's
And if you,
possible
and if there's a board member that would like to motion that discussion for the meeting coming up on the 10th, I need you to submit it to me by tomorrow.
Well,
David, can I make a
David,
comment?
David.
I have a comment.
Yeah, Hassan, before you comment, censure, you need 30 days warning prior to a meeting.
But I said we would have a
So,
discussion for the
if-
for
you
that
guys are
discussion.
getting ahead of yourselves because Bonk still has to make the decision.
Right.
You guys are getting ahead of yourselves because Bonk is going.
Yeah. You're exactly.
Yes, so let's leave this letter as it is. The only comment I wanted to make is that the board member who made that comment is not present tonight.
Present.
And none of us have any idea what may have substantiated that comment. Whether during our meeting, where there was a one-on-one discussion, maybe before the meeting or outside or any other situation. So it's really
So
hard.
shall I add here, not present tonight, but this is going to the level 3.
No, that doesn't need, no, that's not part of the.
Yeah, it's going to the level 3 grievance. I think
What I
what
was
you
saying,
put,
what I was trying to say to the board is that if a board member wanted to bring this up for a discussion and possible action,
yes,
they would have to bring that up for a discussion at the board. And if somebody feels that way, I'm asking you to make sure I have it by tomorrow at the end of business, so I can put it on the agenda.
yes.
Can we add and inappropriate after unsubstantiated to address the unsubstantiated and inappropriate comment?
Yeah, that's good. I think it looks good. Gabriel, I think that the only thing you could really say is that, we reserve the right as a board to take, to address the issue in the future, that's basically, we don't know.
Right.
What I'm
You
saying?
could add this
That doesn't-
statement that
That
this
doesn't need
issue
to be
will,
on this.
this issue
But it doesn't pertain necessarily to
This
this
issue will be addressed.
response. We're just trying to respond to the accusations, but, that's what
I don't think this has
You want this?
anything to
This
do with
issue will be
the,
addressed separately
I
with the
disagree.
grievance. Yeah.
No, I think we
There's
should
nothing to
leave
do with the
this out.
grievance.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have to
let's-
focus on the grievance itself and
Yes.
just responding to, what's being brought to the board, against the board.
I think this
so-
kind of answers, they
I think we're good.
brought it up. I think it kind of satisfy partially what he wanted, and we are addressing it. So I'm glad the board had an opportunity to.
Yeah. No, I think, guys, you addressed it adequately.
Didn't we
Thanks,
kill the
Jason,
Thank you,
David,
Jason.
Hassan, Laurie.
Yes, thank you. Did we
Before
kill the
we move
remedy
on from item number
Didn't we kill the
7,
second paragraph?
let's hold off
Hmm?
1 second.
We just
Before
did
we
7.
move, do we have any other changes to item number 7?
A comma after a PRNC, right where the cursor is right now.
Before nor,
Yes.
before nor, before.
Before.
Oh, before.
On behalf of the PRNC, comma, nor does it. They're good to go.
That's good to go. All right. Let's
Under the
go.
remedy,
Let's
didn't we kill the
let's-
second paragraph? We just moved that up, didn't we?
We're
not
moving
that
there.
one.
We're getting there.
Never mind, never mind, never mind. You already moved it.
Yeah,
It's
You moved
okay
it.
the way it
yeah.
is.
So now,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Final,
was looking at my
final,
own
last
copy.
one. What remedy is suggested? Any changes?
Well,
Yeah, the third line, even though often rudely interrupted. So kill when being. So even though often rudely interrupted. End of that line, end of the third line.
So you want to take out being?
Even though,
When being,
so often move it. No, he wants to move often.
even though often rudely interrupted. Then President Assam
Just
Najjar
go
always
up.
managed meetings with decorum and professionalism, even when often, no, even though he was often rudely interrupted. That's it. Even though he was often rudely interrupted.
Even though he was off.
Even though he was often interrupted.
Take
Rudely
out,
interrupted.
move often. Oh, you can leave it there.
Even though, no, kill it. Even though he was often rudely interrupted. So kill often, third line, last word. Third line, last word.
There you go.
You
Okay,
can copy or cut it, whatever you want. Even though he was often remove when and remove being. Even though he was often really interrupted by the committee.
perfect.
Done.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Lori.
Just going back to the very first line, given the items listed above, the PRNC feels that the proper remedy is to dismiss the grievance. We're not dismissing the grievance, right? They're dismissing the grievance. We're asking them.
Yes, we're
Yes.
asking them.
So shouldn't it read like the property remedy is for,
It's for,
Is
how
it-
about for the,
or for the grievance to be dismissed?
Or done to dismiss.
Or
To do-
done is
yes.
to dismiss the grievance.
long.
For done to, take out is
2,
then.
take out is.
It's not done. It's bonk.
Yeah, it is.
It's what
bonk.
is?
It's the Board of
If you
UNK.
don't like, if you like sausage, don't go watch it being made.
That's fine. I just wanted to make it clear. Thank you.
Let's see.
Thank you, Lori.
Nice collaboration
I
though.
would say not feels. Feels is not a good word. I would say PRNC recommends. You know, it's
Take out feels, add
Sure.
recommend. Good word, Jace.
Yeah, that's much stronger. Thank you.
Recommends probably right.
Jason is on a roll tonight.
After bonk, you have to add is though. Given the items listed above, the appearance he recommends the proper remedy for bonk is to dismiss the grievance.
So put is back, the one we removed, okay.
The rest of it, I think, is good. I read ahead.
So I guess I should change done to bonk.
Yes, BONC.
And kill up, I don't know why we're listing PRNC to
Well-
reject it. We're not rejecting anything. It's got nothing to do with us. And I think it should be there, therefore, the remedy therefore is for bonk to reject this basis grievance. But that's just my thought.
Okay,
Herein means it's part of the document, not therefore. It's a different word, different meaning.
the first part, you know, the first part, you're saying what you're recommending, but you're not concisely saying why you're recommending that. I know, you know, the last part is a conclusion paragraph. So you should restate what you've been saying throughout this whole document in this last part. And so if you're gonna, where are you going? No, no, you don't need to stay where you're at.
I don't know about that.
No, I was gonna get you a paragraph from up there.
Okay, but all right, so like, no, so, you know, the PRNC is recommending that they dismiss this grievance, and then you want to summarize things, right? Based on the fact that the witness statements were blah, 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 and, you know, and then I think you should also add something about the anti-Semitism that PRNC, like what Gabriel was getting at, that the PRNC,
The remedy,
I don't think
remedy
there's any
is,
remedy.
yeah,
That's not part of
We've
the
already
grievance.
stated
We
it.
need to stay focused on what the grievance is.
well, the grievance is the anti-Semitic remarks are part of the grievance.
No, they're
But
not.
we've already touched on that. We don't need to,
I don't know why you say they aren't. I'm reading
Because
it
they're
right
not. They're not part of
you-
responding to the grievance from filed based on how her
many-
concerns about the grievance was handled.
here. I understand.
Jason,
I
it was
understand.
it was a comment. It was a terrible comment, but you want to bring it up more than once. This is,
It's too
the
much.
grievance board is going to look at this, so we need to finalize
And-
a statement.
And
Go ahead,
also
Lori.
it says, given the items listed above. So we've already listed everything out. We don't want
No,
to
I
keep
added
going because it's
the-
getting very long here.
I added the statement just to please Jason. So it's gonna read, given the items listed above, the PRNC believes that this grievance number 254 as submitted is defective, especially with respect to the witness statements and without merit,
Period.
period. And then capitalize the.
Therefore,
The
That's
PRNC
fine.
recommends that the proper remedy for Bonk is to dismiss the grievance.
you put
Even though-
therefore, put therefore right there. Therefore, the PRNC recommends that the property.
I'll bring it down, start a new line. Therefore,
Therefore here?
yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
No, THEREFORE.
Hold on, I mean,
THERE.
hold on.
E before the F.
There you go.
There you go. Therefore, comma.
Comma. The. And then you're done. That's fine. That's it. The PRNC recommends that the proper remedy for the bond is to dismiss the grievance.
Just one comment, this, even though he has since resigned from the board, the president, there's some management, so forth, that whole paragraph there sort of feels out of space here.
I agree.
I
I don't,
agree.
there's
I
no
agree,
merit for it.
I agree. Remove it.
Yeah, Hassan, I was gonna suggest that, you beat me to it.
It wasn't my paragraph. Would you
It
put
wasn't
the
mine
line?
either.
I don't remember
Huh?
writing that. If you
That's
write
fine.
after grievance 254, it should be is defective as submitted. So move is defective up. Given the items listed above, the PRNC believes that this grievance number 254 is defective as submitted. Especially good to go. Done. Done that sentence.
I
Right.
think enough has been said in above paragraph. Frankly, we don't need to go back and make additional points here because, you know, whomever has read the above several pages, they should know by then what the conclusion is.
I agree.
I think we are good to go.
Okay, so any other changes before I give comment to
You want me to stop sharing, Mr. President?
yes, please. Do we have any other changes?
Okay, let me just finish reading the last
Okay.
part.
I'll be right back, but I'm
Thank
good
you.
where we are.
Just go ahead. It's okay.
Oh, I see. Yeah, you're mentioning the witness statements here later, so.
Yeah, it's okay.
Mention it twice, but you don't have to. Do not conform to done policy should be excluded from. Excluded for the. All right. I finished.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all.
So before we
I'll
go to
stop
a
sharing.
vote, I am going to bring, why did you do that? No, okay, one second. I am going to
You have
Bring in
two
the-
hands raised from the floor.
Okay, go ahead. From,
The
One second.
number ending with 820.
I know, I'm coming over there. 1 second. One moment.
Hello, this is one of the witnesses, Maria Fisk, and I'd like to make a comment to the board. I appreciate the opportunity to do so. I noticed that the item that I submitted that you would deem would be unacceptable because it was too long. I submitted this witness statement under the censure, not under a grievance. And there was nowhere any directions or guidance that this should be kept to one page. So I would like to submit to you and Dunn that my comments, very grounded comments, and I listened to all of the recordings and so forth of Becky's comments and questions and so forth. And I do feel that this should not be dismissed and should be considered. I think it's very important. So I had submitted this under the censure. This was not submitted under a grievance process.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much for your comment. A moment.
Mike Benedetto, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Mike.
How you doing, everybody?
Hi, Mike.
You know, this is very difficult for me because I know all you guys. I believe I'm friends with all you guys, but I feel compelled to allude to a few items. Part of the grievance, or I'm sorry, part of the censure itself was based on, its chief component was anti-Semitism, as far as I'm concerned. And that was brought by Miran. And he since has even taken that back with conversations with me. And the thing is, if one of the three people who brought that censure has a defect in what they proposed, then you have to throw the whole thing out, basically. That's what they do in a court of law. When a judge says, well, this is not right, so the whole thing must not be right. That's not my opinion. That's what courts do. I also want to say that I believe that what this board is doing by kind of taking apart the witnesses' statements, especially, I didn't know Maria was on the line here, but I also have to say that the fact that Maria wrote a testimonial on Becky's behalf, it basically has its own merit, and it has absolutely nothing to do with John Lee and her resigning of the board. I mean, I just didn't get that whole thing. That was a little bit out of the ballpark, I think. And I would like to let you know what I'm hearing here, in that, you know, it's not for this board to decide that the witnesses are not saying the correct things, or they're attacking you. They're just stating an opinion. People are allowed to state an opinion. And I don't understand about this whole rebuttal, because Dunn has already accepted this and deemed all the paperwork as credible and accepted, whether it was wrong or right. They've already taken care of it and have accepted it. It also seems like you said that Dunn shouldn't have done this, Dunn shouldn't have done that. So there's a common denominator here that, you know, Becky was wrong, the witnesses are wrong, Dunn's wrong the way they're presenting this. It's a fallacious argument. It's a fallacy in that ad hominem abusa, meaning in Latin that you're attacking the people as opposed to the issue. So I just wanted to point that out. As far as inquiry by Becky, when she, I guess you're saying, called Amajar on the record, yes, she was absent. I think she was absent, what, 1 or 3 times in 10 years or something? But
No,
yes, she missed.
3 in a row.
Okay.
No,
so
no
she-
comments, board.
She missed a meeting, Okay, and it probably would have been explained better if she didn't, but she did. I would also have to then propose the fact that I think she had every right to do an inquiry just to protect the board and say, are you specifically related to traffic, as you guys were talking about light issues? Otherwise, Amjad would have to recuse himself. I don't think that was absolutely terrible. I want to also point out that, you know, we all took an oath of office, all of us. And we need to think about that oath. And part of that oath is that we have to conduct ourselves in a manner so that even opposing viewpoints are honored, and we have to accept that. So I just wanted to share that with you, let you think about that. And thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you, Mike. Next, Saul Daniels.
Hi, it's Judith.
Judith, good evening, Judith. Thank you for attending.
Glad to be here. I have a quick comment and then a request. The comment is that because this all centers around Becky's grievance, and because the paragraph that you added about the anti-Semitism does not give the name of the board member, it sort of looks like you're saying that Becky made the comment about anti-Semitism. Just a comment. My request is that you post the grievance on your webpage.
Of course.
I have not seen what was submitted. I have not seen the content of the grievance. And it is a public document, and I would like a chance to look at it.
Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Do we have any more hands from the attendees?
I have a question, Mr. President.
Well, hold off one second. David Lasher's had his hand up. David?
I respect everybody's opinion, and especially in terms of our, obviously the board, but also our attendees from the public. I want to say a couple things. So one of the comments was that Becky's grievance has nothing to do with anything that occurred on September 8th. It has everything to do with her complaint that the censor, as it occurred, didn't follow policies in terms of how it came about and how that was done. It has nothing to do with that one offhand comment, and has nothing to do with the anti-Semitism, period. We're addressing it because it wasn't appropriate, and we want to make clear that that's how we feel. The other thing, the witness statements, the speaker mentioned they have right to opinion. No, they don't. If you read the witness statement information, it specifically says about the facts and circumstances. They're not character witness statements. They're not about opinion. They're about the facts and circumstances. It's a witness, what they witnessed, not anything else. So the whole conjecture about opinions, all that's misplaced.
Thank you. Assad?
Yes, in regards the grievance itself, the 70-something pages, the one we wanted to post anyways, what is the direction that we have? I know Gibson is not online, but what is the last direction we have from Lorenzo in regards posting it, not posting it, and all that?
I was going to check with the city attorney before we move forward.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. We have Mike, you've already spoken, but I'm going to go with Vicky. Lower your hand.
Hi,
Good evening,
can you
Vicky.
hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay. Assad, in tonight's meeting, you referenced with a negative comment how a Chatsworth board member attacked your board. I never attacked your board. I was disappointed that your board did not present my letter and evidence which detailed your attack against me. My comments were directed towards you, and your comments on Nextdoor where you tried to get my comments removed. You lied, and you said that I have attacked, and I will quote, Vicky Brisman is attacking elected members of the PRNC and is encouraging attacks against Jewish members of the PRNC without just cause. Her actions need to be stopped on Nextdoor. Thank you, Assad Al-Janar, Chair, PRNC Safety. This was inferring that I was anti-Semitic, only because you did not like that I disagreed with some comments you made. You went to the back end of Nextdoor and you made untruthful, defamatory statements against me. I have not attacked anyone and would never attack any person for their religion, race, or ethnicity. You did. If anyone would like to see my letter and evidence, I am willing to show it to them. You,
All right,
David
Vicky,
and Moran,
I'm going to have to ask you to stick to our discussion tonight. You're going off on a tangent. Would you like to make comment?
I am addressing Assad's comments.
That's not part of the PRNC board.
Assad
It didn't occur to me either.
Assad made a comment at the beginning of his speech, and it directed towards me. So I am directing that against that comment that he made.
Okay, you have about another 15 more seconds to your 2 minutes.
Great.
Thank you.
You, David Balin, and Moran then called a CNC board member and asked him to stifle me. When you say that you don't accuse people of anti-Semitism, you do. And I am not anti-Semitic. I am Jewish and would never attack any religion, but especially someone in my religion. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Mr. President, I think it's appropriate I should say something. So thank you, Vicky. And your email and complaint was forwarded actually to Raquel and all done. The evidence supposedly you showed was illegally obtained by another lead member. This statement that I made on behalf of Mehran, myself, and David to Nextdoor management. And when you were asked, where did you get the evidence? You said, oh, someone stuck it on my door. Being a nice guy, we did not pursue going after you for the whatever you did, getting all this illegal stuff. And what Don is doing is trying to get a media and Nextdoor policy to stop things like this that happened. The memo you got was illegally obtained and delivered to you by another lead member. And because what you read is a message between the leads, it's not a public message. You were attacking us, and all you needed to do is pick up the phone and say, Assad, I feel so and so. I am very helpful and I work very close with the Chatsworth Neighborhood Council. And I have so much respect for you guys and I love you guys. And I'm even tempted to run for one of your seats in addition to what I'm doing here in Porter Ranch, because we're an integral part. So for you to deviate from it and then you send an email to the whole of board and exempted me. And the whole issue is, I didn't want to bring it up, but since you brought it up, it's part of the record. Raquel is aware of it, the ANC is aware of it, and I never used my name. But now you're opening the ground that your letter to this board is an attack, even though your president said your letter does not have anything to do with the Chatsworth Neighborhood Council against the Porter Ranch Neighborhood Council.
Okay, let's finish this up.
We love you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mike, if you can make this quick, I'll unmute you.
I will.
Go ahead, Mike.
Okay. So, you know, it just, I keep hearing the same thing over and over again, that anything that you guys don't agree with, and I don't mean all of you, but I keep hearing it from certain individuals that if you say anything contrary to what you guys are saying, it's an attack. It's not an attack, it's an opinion. And I just want to allude to the fact that the censure, the grievance, the opposition to grievance, it's all part of one thing. It's indivisible. And unless anybody here has the legal credentials that I have, you would understand what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Thank you. On that note, board, I'm going to need to move forward. Let's move ahead. Let's call a vote on our, do we have any other changes to the letter? No? Margaret, would you be able to call the vote?
Yes, I'll call the vote for the board members in attendance. We have David Balin, President,
Yes.
Assad Anajair, Vice President,
Yes.
Since 1980.
Lori Choi, Secretary,
Yes. Yes.
Jason Hector, Treasurer. Jason Hector, Treasurer.
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay, we have Brandy Grace absent, Mark Haynes absent, Moran Kai Dijon absent, Gabriel Cannon
Abstain.
abstain. Okay, David Lasher,
Yes.
Becky Levique absent, Hassan Mimran. Yes, okay. I will read the vote back to you. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the yes, and you have 2 abstain. We have David, yes. Asada Sher, yes. Lori Choi, yes. Jason Hector, abstain. I'm not going to read the absenteeisms. Gabriel Cannon, abstain. David Lasher, yes. Becky, she's not absent. Hassan Majan, yes. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yeses and 2 abstains.
Board, thank you very much. The motion passes. We will move forward. We will make the changes that we have, and we will submit on behalf of the board for this grievance. If there's any other comments or question, I will call the meeting.
Question, Mr. President.
Yes, go ahead, Assad.
So I'm clear to upload and cut and paste these on the website and click the submit.
Yes, you are.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right,
Are
at
we
that
gonna get a
point,
copy of the, when you submit, can you create a copy for all of us somehow, or maybe use the board email? That way we'll get a confirmation or something, please.
absolutely.
So when I fill in my email, I'm going to use board@PRNC, or when I get response, I forward to you, I assume.
I think it's better to
Yeah.
use board@PRNC, don't you think?
But then the level 3, when they send board,
It'll come to the board and then it'll.
yeah, but that means whatever they're going to ask us is going to,
You know what, let me follow up with Gibson and see if that's
yeah,
fine.
we'll follow up,
Okay.
Gibson.
I don't
We'll
care
work on that.
Just get
Thank you.
everybody a copy, that's all I'm asking.
Everybody will get a copy before he submits. On that note, we will conclude this meeting. Thank you, Port Aransas Neighborhood Council Board. Margaret, a million thank yous to you, and have a good night. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks,
Have a
Margaret.
great evening. Thank you.
Thanks for the collaboration. That was great.
It was
Thank you.
great. That's what PRNC is all about, collaboration. Thank you, team.